I don't want to just talk about the Knicks. Now, I kind of got inspiration from King of the Fourth Quarter for doing this on his other channel. I don't know which channel it is because he has 5 channels. I'm trying to keep up with all of them, but I get some inspiration, and I just don't want to talk about the Knicks. And there are other things happening in the world than just the New York Knicks. Fortunately, there is that I am interested in, because if it was just the Knicks, I would be depressed. I am from watching the Knicks, but there's other things in the world which is not making me completely depressed all the time. Maybe when I'm watching the Knicks and they lose by a lot, but not other things in the world like the Hawks getting clamped up. That makes me happy. That makes me happy. But let me talk about this more in depth. The Heat were running a defense that was so weird. They were running, I don't even know how to explain it. They were running 3 players around Trae Young. They were triple teaming Trae Young on when he was guarding Duncan Robinson. You were okay, the only players they attack really one-on-one is Duncan Robinson and Tyler Hero. When he got to Tyler Hero, they were doubling him. That was last game, and they're triply teaming him this game. It shows the amount of respect. I know that no, Udonis Haslem making this defensive scheme. It's got to be Eric Spoelstra, and he has so much respect for the game, and he knows the game so much that he can he has so much respect for Trae Young, and he knows what he can do. And he just is such a great coach, and I think it's showing in this series that he's one of the best coaches of all time. Trae Young 25 points, but that doesn't. Most of his points were on putbacks, broken plays. I mean, they were playing great defense on him. I think that somebody needs to step out to make this game a chance, and I think it's the same thing with the Nuggets. To have a chance in the games, those teams need to have a second star, need to have a second player, not even a star, just take it off the dribble and create. I think the Nuggets have it, in my opinion, and whatchamacallit, Bones Highland, but he just doesn't play that much. We'll talk about them next game, tomorrow. I don't even know when they play again. They probably play tomorrow or the next day. But John Collins playing a little bit better. He's getting better and better. It's hard to come back from injury and go right into the playoffs, especially if it's game 1 of the playoffs and you're playing. He came back last game, especially if you're playing against one of the best defensive teams of all time. On paper, everybody can switch except of course Tyler and Duncan, but they're still giving that offensive presence which you can't take them off the floor for. Unless you're 0 for 15, then there you have no reason to put him on the floor. But that's besides the point, because I know Duncan Robinson will go over 15. That's why he's barely in the playoff rotation. But he's got himself up because last game he shot 20 on them, and almost had I think he had a franchise record from threes. I don't know, but yeah, talking about franchise records, Mr. Jimmy Butler, 45. Are you kidding me? Jimmy Butler playoff mode activated. You thought it was over, because of the game after the bubble. Not the game after the playoff after the bubble. Thought it was over. You thought playoff mode Jimmy was over. There's gonna be no more playoff mode Jimmy. It's still on. It's still on. I know you might be 40. It's still there. That's an exaggeration, but it's still on. He's 33, I think. It's still on though. It's not going to get any worse even if he's 40. He's still going to have that playoff mode. And we thought it was off, but it's still going to be on now. And Bam, it felt like Bam didn't play any minutes. I know he's giving me that defensive impact, but I just feel like with Rudy Gobert, he's going to give you no offensive impact. Maybe he might a little bit, actually. The pick and rolls are still offense. So, I guess. And same with Bam, but you expect him to score. That's the thing. It's different from Rudy Gobert. You don't expect him to score, but with Bam, he has the package to. He can pull up from mid-range, which Rudy Gobert cannot. He can pull up from mid-range. I don't know, I'm just picking on Rudy Gobert. It's just what everybody seemed to do. Even though it's not his fault. I mean, it is kind of, but it isn't. Of why he's going to be picked on for the last few days, but that's besides the point. But I mean, here's the point that I'm trying to make, that Bam can shoot the mid-range shot. He's a package to, I'm gonna be honest, average 20 a game consistently. It just hasn't been showing. He still is a defender. He came and made a good defense. Did he? Or that was a bad offensive play. It was a bad offensive play. He's still going to give you that defensive impact no matter what. Anybody can give you that defensive impact. That is something that you cannot lose. You can lose the offensive impact, but you can't lose the defensive impact. I don't think Bam and I completely lost his offensive impact, but I think it's too late. I mean, not late in the series, but it's too late in the season for him to gain it back. I mean, if he can, that'd be a big plus. I think we can. I mean, just straight up average 15 a game for the next whole series. I don't think that's a lot. I mean, he has the package to do it. He just isn't really shooting a lot. I don't understand it. There's some injuries behind it, but that's besides the point. It's not besides the point. I just wanted something to transition. So, I mean, the Hawks did great on Tyler Hero and Duncan Robinson. Duncan Robinson had 0 points. That's crazy. That's crazy because, you know, we can go back 2 days in the NBA app. And this is not a sponsor at all, but I'm just using it because it's a good app. I'm just going to be honest. It's a good app. I'm going to be honest with you. Real and this is probably 2 of my favorite apps. Yeah, I mean, you see this? Yes, Jimmy Butler now put up 45. But I think he's still going to have 45 and Jimmy Butler, not Duncan Robinson, getting close to 45. He might, actually, just because I said that. But, you know, Jimmy can get to 45 and still 10 points for Duncan. But, you know, 0 from having 27. I think that's a problem. I think that's definitely a problem that you need to talk about. And I think it needs to be assessed because you cannot not get the ball to somebody. I didn't see him get the ball once, to be honest. He might have in the second half. Not second half, but he might have in like the fourth quarter. But, you know, they weren't getting him the ball. Like, he had 27 the last game. And, I mean, if you want to get people consistent, you want to get them unlocked, you got to get them the ball after they score 27. I mean, it's not just getting the ball moving out of the way. Definitely not for Duncan Robinson. It's getting the ball off screens. They're definitely running screens for him. They just aren't getting him the ball. Excuse my haircut. It's like freaking 12, and I'm just looking at it, and it's just killing my eyes. But whatever. But yeah, I mean, I think it kinda. I mean, they scored the same amount. That's nice. They scored the same amount of points both games. Hey, for the Heat, I'm talking about. But in the second game, not really a lot to talk about. I didn't really watch it. I tuned in for like 2 seconds. That was like a TikTok video. But yeah, that was it. That's how much I tuned in for. 2 seconds. Because then it was a blowout. So then they just started hitting shots. So, that's really it. I mean, when I mean hitting shots, I always get this way. Who are you talking about? Yeah, I'm talking about the Grizzlies, of course. But yeah, 1-1. Definitely in good position is not Memphis Grizzlies, it's the Minnesota Timberwolves going back home. Talking about another good position. I have like a few minutes to talk about this. Give me a few minutes because, man, oh man, you got the. I'm gonna try to only have like 2 minutes of this talking about it because like I need to have that thing called sleep. I need to do it. These NBA playoffs are making me not sleep a lot, so I gotta get as much sleep as I can. So Herb Jones, 14 points. He's hustling for everything, man. I can go down the line of his Pelicans team. CJ. That man is a vet, and I heard Reggie Miller or, like, Kevin Harlan. I don't even know who the other broadcaster was. I'm just going to say he's Kevin Harlan, because that's a filler name for me of a commentator who I think it is, but I don't really know. They said that CJ kind of took the veteran, like, what do you mean, like, vet skills from Chris Paul, and it's really shown. Because, you know, in the end of the game, I thought they were going to be effed. Like, they were up by 9, 2 minutes left. They're about to foul. They're about to push it. And they're about to throw turnovers because they're a young team, obviously. The Pelicans are a young team. CJ slowed them down. Best thing that could happen in that game, one of the most, not the best thing, but the most underrated part of the game at the end, was just him slowing them down. Being like, relax. We're up 9. I don't know if you look at the scoreboard, but we're going crazy right now. Let's slow it down so we can win this game, get it out of here, and go to New Orleans. But that was just great by him. Brandon Ingram, man. That man is different. He's different. I'm not calling him one of those vets because he still is like 23, 24. He's different. And he was still, it's like the like flu game, because he was literally, he had rolled his ankle. I don't know if it was a roll ankle. It was something with the ankle. He came back. Went crazy. He didn't come back, but he felt like he was hurting a little bit. They weren't running plays for him. I just felt like he was out of the game. He had like 20 at the time. Nope. Scores like 20 in the fourth quarter. Every shot's going to him, and he makes all of them. And I just felt like it was a shootout in the last few minutes, which definitely benefited the Pelicans because it forced them to push them at the court. And if you force the other team to play at your pace, especially if it's the number 1 seed, force them to play at the 8 seed pace, it's not going to end well for the number 1 seed. It's, in this case, the number 1 seed with the Suns, number 8 seed with the Pelicans. So, it doesn't end well. And the Pelicans were forcing them to play at their pace, and they're forcing them to play at the best pace they could possibly play, which is push the ball down the floor. Because that really benefited them. And they didn't really need to push the ball down the floor. It was kind of just give the ball to Brandon Ingram, but still, they were playing at what the Pelicans wanted the Suns to play at late in the game. When they were already up by 4 points, they were just, okay, let's shoot them out this game. And that was kind of like went in the Pelicans' favor because they didn't have the book. The Suns didn't have the book. And Chris Paul was out of it, scoring-wise. I mean, he still gave you assists, but it wasn't really that impactful because he didn't average 20 points. Doesn't need to average 20 points to be impactful. I kind of said that terribly. I kind of said that like I was a casual, but you know what I mean. Like, you need to actually put the ball in the basket and be kind of like a threat scoring the ball to be first to be able to pass the ball to other people. And that's what Chris Paul does very well, but he didn't do good in this game. And, Jose Alvarado, clamp down, what do they call it? He got locked. That's what I'm trying to say. He got locked. He got locked down. Lockdown mode for Jose Alvarado. He backed it up. He backed up what he said. That he wasn't going to do this stuff. He still averaged 10 and 10, but that's besides the point. They won. And he won't do that ever again to them. I don't think he saw that because he would have went crazy at Jose Alvarado, but, give him the dust. You just don't say that, Jose. Never say that again. I'm on your side. I'm one of your big fans. Don't say that. Because Chris Paul is lurking. And he will remember that, and he'll use that. He doesn't need no motivation. I don't know why you sound like that. He doesn't need any motivation. Just please don't give him motivation, because he already is so good as it is. Don't give good players motivation. Please. Because then it's going to be onslaught. And then you're just going to lose. So, by a lot. This might be your only game you win. If he takes that as motivation. So, yeah. Chris Paul is Chris Paul. And you don't want to play with Chris Paul. Pause. But you don't want to interfere with him. He's already good as it is. Don't add fuel to his fire. Please. We don't want to see that. As not a Chris Paul hater, but I don't really go crazy when Chris Paul goes insane. Please don't. Please. Just don't. I want to see Book 50 bombs. I don't want to see Chris Paul drop 30. And I'd rather not. So, if Book can drop 50, that'd be nice. Which means that Chris Paul doesn't drop 50s. So, I'd rather have Book drop 50. That's it. That's it. And that's all I need to talk about. Young Pelicans going crazy. Pushing the ball off the court. Nothing else. Peace. Bye-bye. Let's go. Not let's go Knicks anymore because they aren't in the playoffs. But let's go playoffs. Woohoo! Let's go playoffs. So much fun that the Knicks aren't in it. Even though it actually is it's pretty fun to have their team not in the playoffs, so you don't need to be stressful all game long. Yeah, especially if you're a Knicks fan. It's always stressful. Peace. Let's go Knicks, too. I don't think this is going to end. Let's go Knicks. A season video? Probably coming soon. I don't know. We'll see.